Hello, Matthew. The moon is already in the trees, so we missed our opportunity to look at the Pleiades. It was still too bright. I'm getting ready to get the Seestar going as well. Matthew, are you likely to go to the NEAF this weekend, to the Northeast Astronomy Forum?
Powering on, ready to connect.
Tell me more about running races. Okay, let's see if we can put Seestar outside. Good for you. Oh, I know about those races. I wish you the best. Let's see if our Seestar is happy. Okay, failed to load. Check internet connection. We know that. Let's go stargazing. Get me Polaris and I'm happy. I just poured the coffee all over me. Okay, Seestar is looking at the right neighborhood. It needs focusing, but it has a rough idea. Or not, the focus seems fine now. Okay, let's get Polaris. Oh, good. There we go. Let's autofocus while we can. Thank you. And let's pull up Stellarium. Hello, Bill. Yeah, I do not do equatorial at the window ledge. Not too safe. Okay, come on. So we're reasonably well focused on Polaris. Any chance of getting the moon in the Pleiades has passed. Let's see if we can... is the CrB up yet? No, barely. It's only 3 degrees up. Long time no see, Bill. We had contractors all over the house today, supposedly fixing the walls that the mold mitigation team ripped up. They ended up ripping up more walls, so the stress level in the household is a little bit higher than I'd like it to be right now. I'm still trying to decide whether Neef is going to be a victim of the chaos in the house or not. Hello, Zena. Thank you. Welcome back to you too. Bill, I don't see anything east that's worthy of observation at this point. I don't know if the Sky Live has anything for us. We'll get back to the CrB momentarily. Okay, there is a whole slew of targets there, including M64. All right. Okay, time to power it. Gina, do you have a date for retirement at this point? Still aiming for May 31st? Autofocus failed. Okay. Je ne sais pas why. Sorry. Hello, John. Zina, I can't help it but laugh. It is really sad. Are they going to ask you to move back to Denver also, or are you valuable enough for them to let you work out of Phoenix? John TCRB is still very low. We will hop onto it momentarily. Bill, there is a whole mess of Messier objects staring me in the east, including the entirety of the Mercurian's chain. Plus we have the Leo triplet. So we'll probably do some hopping around Messier right now. As I mentioned a moment ago, we have been preoccupied with the repairs to the house, and to add insult to injury, last Thursday I was in a head-on collision at high speed. I was going 65, collided with a garbage can on a windy day. Good news is the garbage can was plastic. The bad news is my Toyota was plastic also. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, not even the garbage can, because it continued on its merry way. $4,000 of damage to the Toyota Camry. And the repair shops are booking in May right now, given the rough winter that we had in upstate New York. Too many damaged, totaled, whatever cars. So I'm driving a Toyota that's half damaged on one side, but still drivable. John, the Pleiades right now is sitting in the moon, or the moon is sitting in the Pleiades. So I was hoping to be able to see it, and we're going to try to see if we can see any of the stars. But to answer your question, yes, Pleiades is too low. Let's see if we can see it. So this is wide. I've gone maximum gain and maximum exposure, and I'm not seeing stars near the moon. Only one bright star, so moon must be too bright and overwhelming the Pleiades at this point. And this is not a pretty moon. Let's go back. Tele. No gain. Okay. Sorry, no joy. That's what we're doing. Mimo is serving as the backup right now. We're taking turns driving. Living out in the country, we have regressed. My first encounter was hitting a deer, and that was $15,000 in damage to a brand new car. The second encounter with wildlife was hitting a turkey. That was $8,000 in damage to the car. The turkey flew off, adding insult to injury. Now it's a garbage can. So, don't know what's next. The good news is no people were hurt in those episodes. Looks like my sky cam has rotated a little bit with the wind. Now it has rotated a lot. Okay, back. So we're dealing with the insurance agency now on both the house and the garbage can or the car. And to my surprise, State Farm informed me that they will only pay for aftermarket and refurbished parts. And Toyota said they will only put brand new OEM parts. So I am stuck with the difference, which fortunately is only $50. So, but that is new for State Farm. They had never in the past said they will only pay for refurbished or aftermarket parts. Zina, I thought you were a beer person, not a red wine person. But that's okay. The nice thing about Mimo is I've been testing things in it. So far, so good. The best part is I can fit a 4x8 piece of plywood. The seats fold completely inside the trunk. I am making a video of equipping Mimo. I'm testing now the 5G amplifier. And I am confident that I will be able to take it to Bortle 2 and Bortle 1 in the Adirondacks to do a full nighter and then head back home in the morning. It is big enough to fit a twin-size mattress, so I'll be able to sleep when I'm done and then drive when I wake up. And we discovered that within the Adirondacks Park, there are a dozen places that allow overnight sleeping at no charge. So I'm looking to see which ones are closest to me and still within Bortle 2. A couple of them are less than 100 miles away, so I'm excited to try these soon. We have the power worked out. I'm checking on internet connectivity, but it won't be long before we bring you the first live webcast from Mimo from Bortle 2. Bill, we had over 100 people who showed up after midnight to be with us from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Free pizza and apple pie definitely brings out students. But the interesting thing is we had many members of the community, including people who brought their kids. We're talking about 7 and 8 year olds at 3 a.m. watching the lunar eclipse. So it was good. I felt very good about it. Having Jacob there was wonderful. Other than he stole my feed once. He had the same identical equipment that I did. He had a DWARF 2, a DWARF 3, and a Seestar S50. And he had his Starlink connectivity, but since we both were using the default password on the Seestar. He took over my Seestar and then took over my channel and was feeding his stuff down. Xena Mimo is the minivan mobile observatory. We like to come up with the acronyms. Hello, Jeannie. Welcome back. Night waves don't push my luck yet. The initial adventure with Mimo will be Seestar and DWARF centered. We will eventually move up to Stellina, and I don't know that I want to set up the 11-inch on the roof of the van. When I tried in my Toyota Camry to put the DWARF on the roof, it was so sensitive that it almost acted like an EKG, because I could see my heartbeats recorded in the images that DWARF was taking. I don't know if the minivan is going to be heavier or heavy enough that I can put the telescope on the roof and sleep inside and not worry about my movements and my heartbeat affecting the scope. Otherwise, I'll just have to sit on the side. Finding Nemo parking. Bill, did you see the Falcon 9 launch that Jeannie captured? I have a short video on my channel. She actually captured the launch with her Seestar. The black eye galaxy is starting to look nice. Night waves, were you transferring the files via USB cable or over Wi-Fi? Right now, as you are watching this, I am conducting an experiment of charging the Samsung Galaxy A9 tablet directly from the laptop while using screen copy. And it seems to be working. I started at 43%, it's up to 48%, and I'm happy with that. Actually, it was Jacob who brought to my attention that my laptop with 4 different USB ports had 4 different charging capabilities. So I rotated the cables using a USB meter until I found one of the ports to actually power the tablet as well as allow USB debugging. And yep, it's up to 49%. I'm happy with that. Hello, Fish and Football. We do not have an S30. We're waiting for the S700. Apparently, they're taking orders today. And could not get the Pleiades. The moon is too bright and too close to it. So might as well label what we have today. This is Grumpy, and this is Seestar. There you go, ta-da. Thank you. Thank you, Fish and Football. Thanks, Jeannie. That'll be good. If you can get us another launch. Bill, I was able to track a plane, an aircraft with the DWARF a while back, pretty successfully. Borden Dundee. Good evening, Jacob. Well, I had great success tracking a fast-moving turtle in my backyard last year. That thing moved at least 6 feet in half an hour, and Seestar was right on it. Okay. Jacob, before you got on, I was extending my thanks to you for 2 technical tidbits during the lunar eclipse that have helped a lot. The first one is that you are able to keep dwarf powered regardless of temperature. Now I am able to keep dwarf powered all night without any issue regardless of temperature by using the Bluetti. So it was indeed a limitation of the adapter. After I tried all the cables that I had and all the adapters, and I had a whole range of power outputs. And the second tidbit from you was that the Galaxy A9 is high resolution and bright and sucks power like crazy. So I went around my laptop, actually both of my laptops, and I discovered that my ThinkBook, one of the 4 USB ports, actually supplies more power while allowing screen copy. It supplies more power than the tablet uses. And so right now it is charging. We started at 43%. It is up to 50%. And it is communicating with the Seestar. So thanks again for both tidbits. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pompey Observatory. As I mentioned earlier, I have been preoccupied with quite a bit of damage to the house from ice built up that created the waterfalls inside the living room all the way to the basement. And when the mold mitigation crew came, they gave me the good news that the area that is covered by mold was less than 10 square feet, so they did not have to report it to the state. Otherwise, if it was more than 10 square feet of mold behind the sheetrock, they were required by law to stop work until the state comes and examines and determines whether they need to condemn the house or not. So we passed that hurdle. They ripped a lot of sheetrock from multiple floors. They ripped the entire floor in the basement, the flooring, and they tore the chimney. Now we have the reconstruction crew, and they did a lot more ripping. Tomorrow they're supposed to start rebuilding, so we'll see how that goes. All the planning, by the way, to get the solar eclipse coming out of the water went to naught, but it was still an exercise in internet connectivity and MIMO. I had everything set up and tested from the west shore of Oneida Lake, which is the largest lake in New York State. Apparently you need 3 miles of water for the horizon to be in the water. By the way, if you look at the SkyCam, you can see clearly that Betelgeuse has not gone nova. I debated whether I should make a video of Betelgeuse going supernova and posting it today as an April's Fool's, but I was reminded that neither YouTube nor Facebook have a sense of humor, and that they would accuse me of spreading disinformation and maybe ban me for life. So Betelgeuse has not gone supernova, and here it is. And pretty soon, as soon as we have half an hour on M64, we should be able to hop onto TCRB and see where it is. Yep, I know those telescopes. Was that Canadian dollars or US dollars? I was really impressed by the demolition crew. They had a hygrometer, or whatever you want to call it, with two sharp needles that they kept sticking into the sheetrock and reading the moisture in it. And as long as the conductivity was above or below a certain level, they marked it as to be ripped out and taken away. And when they ran out of sheetrock, they decided to stop. Now, M63 is going to be my next target after we visit TCRB. The Sunflower Galaxy, I don't know if Jeannie is there, but that is one of the more sophisticated galaxies out there. It is in the vicinity of M101 and M51, the Pinwheel and the Whirlpool galaxies. But something about Sunflower, if we can get it, if we can do justice to it tonight, I'd like to do that. Yeah, fish and football. M63 is the only word I can think of to describe it is sophisticated. It is a very, very nice target. We'll get to it as soon as, let me see where TCRB is right now. TCRB is at 9 degrees, so it's doable. Just rising, it's about 9 degrees up now. A couple of weeks ago, some of you may recall Seestar was misbehaving majorly and causing star trails all over the place. I thought for a moment that it was the cable stiffening in the cold and keeping it from moving freely. After some thorough research, turned out to be the compass was misaligned. Recalibrating the compass solved the problem. I did not get an error number per se. Actually, it did not give me an error. It was just, you saw that, it was giving me massively bad star trails all over the place. I am very happy with how clean it is right now, the image. Another bit of good news, my meetings at Oswego today has provided us access to the computer science programming class next fall. And one of the projects they will be working on is satellite trail detection and elimination in astrophotography images, like this one. So the plan is for them to take the raw images, the fits from Seestar and DWARF and Big Meat 16, and automatically go through them, detect satellite trails, and erase them by averaging out the pixels with neighboring pixels and neighboring images. John, not sure about the plate solving and the compass, but during the 15-second or 10-second or 20-second of capturing a frame, the telescope is moving to keep the stars stationary, and apparently that movement was dictated by what the compass thought the location or the positioning or the leveling of the telescope was. Because 10 seconds the stars will move a lot, and that was what's happening. Coming up this month is the Lyrid meteor shower on the 22nd. The plan is to use the Skycam as well as point one of the dwarfs at wide angle towards the shower. I'm anxious and curious to see what the Skycam will do with the meteor shower. John, there are two possible causes of the buzzing sound. One of them is the Seestar actually moving, because it is 1, 2, 3 feet from the microphone. And this new laptop does not have a fan, so there is no sound coming out of the laptop. Let me see if my filters are on. I have the noise suppression on. Did it just occur now? I have adjusted the magnification on the microphone and verified that the filter is on. And for some reason, Seestar has stopped stacking. It was the tablet not talking to Seestar. Okay, we're almost done here. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Fish. Thanks, Zena. I like a lot this laptop with a solid-state hard drive. Fewer moving parts and less noise. And the moon is sinking into the trees. John, I am sure you will let me know when you hear it again. So here we are, 30 minutes. We're going to do the magic trick. I don't know who Al Denise is, but we will find out soon. Not too bad. Jeannie, are you taking a picture or do you want me to take a screen capture for you? I'll send you a copy, Jeannie, as soon as I figure out where it went. All right. TCRB. And I can announce that TCRB has not gone nova. And there it is. Okay, we're going to go to M63. John, I did some thorough research on the orientation, the portrait orientation of Seestar as opposed to the landscape orientation, and concluded that field rotation is ameliorated by the portrait orientation as opposed to landscape. So their original thinking of putting the sensor this way as opposed to the way everybody else does it has alleviated or ameliorated field rotation significantly. That is what I suspect, John, and that's what I computed empirically. If you look at the eastern part of the sky, due east, at elevations between 20 degrees and 40 degrees, you are likely to have very little, if any, field rotation. If, on the other hand, you try to image anything near Polaris, such as the Dark Shark Nebula, you will have horrendous field rotation, and everything is rotating around Polaris. But my experience has been, if the target is east and not too high, then portrait orientation gives less field rotation than landscape. Let me see if I can pull up a diagram to illustrate the challenges. This is what we're talking about. And as things are moving along those lines, if you catch them anywhere around here, you have minimal field rotation. If, on the other hand, you try to operate there, you have tremendous field rotation. Each of those boxes is about an hour's worth. So you're going from, if you're here, you're going from about here to about here. The orientation has not changed much. This angle, the difference between this one and that one is not much of a change. Versus here, where the difference is much bigger. And if you were to go west, then you get a break as well. South seems okay because things are going to be moving straight down or straight up with practically no field rotation. If I were to move the time, things are translating and not rotating in this area. And if we look at the east in the meantime, that's what's happening. Again, pretty much translation, very, very little rotation. You go up here and it becomes practically horrendous. Anyway. gonna take a quick break to run a couple of errands. Be right back. Audio off for just a couple minutes. I'm back, Zena. What does Astrospheric say? Astrospheric says we have another hour and a half before the clouds come up, so that's how long I will be. The moon is all but gone. Let's see if we can marshal DWARF to do some useful work on the west wing. Let me go calibrate DWARF 2. Wait a second, I'll be right back. Okay, let's see if DWARF 2 wants to be useful. I'm going to go to Astro mode and see if it will calibrate. We're going to go with tele. One. I don't know if DWARF 2 does it automatically or whether we have to program it, but let's see. All right, we see stars. Calibration. Looks like we have successful calibration. Let me see what's on the west. Or actually, ooh. Milky Way is there. Not much in the south. IC63, where is it? Let me see. Is DWARF gonna do justice to it? Stellarium doesn't know where IC63 is. No, it's in the wrong part of the sky. DWARF cannot see it from there. Okay, it found M44. In the meantime, M63 is starting to look nice. We're gonna let it take its time. Fish and football. Yeah, Seestar has IC 4587. DWARF has a whole bunch of CrBs, Corona Borealis, but it doesn't have T. And I think the DWARF lab folks mistook T for Theta. And they are two different stars. So mark your calendars for 3 weeks from today. The Lyrid meteor shower. The clouds are moving in, as you can tell from the sky cam. They're moving in from the north, closing in on us. So with a bit of luck, they will give us another half hour. This is one time where astrospheric is spot on, unfortunately. I would have really liked 45 minutes on M63. So we're halfway there. Don't know if it'll give us the extra half hour or not. Don't know what might be causing the buzzing. Not sure, the place is absolutely quiet here. And looking at the audio mixer, it's not even registering green when I stop talking. It goes totally dead. That's where my French comes in handy. Je ne sais pas. I don't know. There is one possibility that I'm going to explore, and you guys can help me. It may be coincidental, but the noise was occurring only when I had Stellarium Web running. So I just pulled it back up. Turtle video. Jeannie, I stand corrected. It was a dwarf. Well, we're still stacking, and that is good. I'm anxious to see what the AI denoise will do with M63. Unfortunately, it is not identifying the galaxy that's above M63. Let me see what that might be. And John, if you look carefully at this image, and that is zoomed out, there is absolutely no field rotation to speak of. The galaxy that is above M63 is UGC 8313. It's magnitude 14, and it's only half an arc minute. I have another video of another turtle, Jeannie. Let me send it also. Sorry. My Seestar is still happy. It has passed the power onto the CPU. Looks like there is another galaxy straight down from that. Let me see what that one is. Yep. It is UGC 8365. Data 1. If you insist, John. There is some light pollution in the bottom. Let me see if I can turn off the neighbor's lights. Yeah, these are magnitude 14, and they are only a few arc seconds in dimension. UGC is Uppsala General Catalogue of 19,000 galaxies visible from the Northern Hemisphere, first published in 1973. And according to NASA, they have a 1 arc minute limiting diameter and brighter than 14.5 magnitude. And they are numbered according to their right ascension values. I don't know what they mean by limiting. Okay, they have to be smaller than 1 arc minute. So it does not include any of the Messier catalog for that. Gemini gets the prize, not me. That's Google's AI. Yeah, they have to be smaller than 1 arc minute and brighter than 14.5 magnitude. So 8313 barely makes it on both metrics. Fish, are you saying a day's trek to Sweden, to Uppsala? Good question, Bill. I haven't asked since last time. I will check with them. They have a renewed interest and excitement about using the 16-inch Meade to look at Lyrae. These are apparently variable stars with a period of under an hour. So if we sit on it for an hour, we will see it go from a minimum brightness to maximum brightness and back. And they want to get students involved. So we spent much of today writing a user guide to the students whom I will start training beginning next week. And the smaller mead, when it arrives, is going to serve a big purpose as a replica to the 16-inch, but on a smaller side, so they will learn how to operate it and how to align it and how to find targets with it. I will most likely equip it with a smaller camera so we can do plate solving with it. And this way it's easily portable as opposed to the 16-inch. Fish and football, you typed the three-letter word that I dread most in retirement, and that is why. I'm an engineer. I concern myself with what. I defer to the scientists and the philosophers. Matters of why. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, I'm excited to put it to good use. As of today, they have committed 2 students to me who will work full-time over the summer to get things ready for the fall classes. And then we are likely to have a dozen students working on projects supporting the observatory, ranging from writing an Android app to control the 16-inch mead, all the way to satellite trail detection and elimination, to developing a sequence or plan my night for the 16-inch mead. And then I want to apply AI initially on the Messier catalog, so given the target, the program will automatically determine the exposure, gain, filters to use, and total number of frames to stack to get an optimum image. I have a professors of astronomy and physics, the department chair actually, who will be teaching them the photometry. I'm going to try to move as far as possible into the engineering of the telescope and let him, he's a variable star expert. Let him focus on the photometry of the variable stars. But with a bit of luck, we will be showing you variable stars early in the fall, if not sooner. M44 is starting to show nebulosity on DWARF 2 and has not lost any frame yet. 160 stacked 160. Nice. One of the big challenges that will require some engineering is to get the M16 to stop, to turn off before it hits the hard stops when it goes the full 360 degrees or whatever it is, 540 degrees, I believe. Right now, if it reaches the hard stops, it will just bang its head against them in an effort to self-destruct. And if you're not physically there, there is no stopping it remotely. Well, for a starter, you don't know it's happening. So we're going to try to have them detect that or prevent it from happening by turning off the telescope, by shutting the power off. I do not know Dr. Kennedy from Dundee. John, it does, but for some reason, all the Meads have the very, very, very bad habit of banging against the hard stops. The Celestron, on the other hand, the CGX mount, before it gets to the hard stop, it will stop. The electronics will stop it. And it gives you an error message saying, we almost hit that hard stop, so we stopped. And that I like. Mead does not. All I have to do is move it into a sequence that will get it to go the full circle around and then send it to a star that will require it to hit the hard stop, and it will just go banging its head. Yeah, I'm wondering what happened to the big aurora that was supposed to come our way. There was a massive explosion in the sun today. Yep, nothing imminent. John, that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to read the encoders and tell it to stop or shut it off or do something. It will stop if you have the hand set in your hand and it's banging against the hard stop and you push any key in the hand set, it will stop. But you have to be physically at the telescope to do that. The remote handsets that I have tested do not stop it. Our challenge is to be able to operate that big telescope really truly remotely. One other thing that I demonstrated, but not repeatedly, is if I give it a command, a go-to command, and then interrupt the TCP/IP link that would otherwise give it a stop command, then it will just go, you'll have a runaway telescope. The ASCOM drivers are not well behaved, so that when you tell it to go to an RA and declination, it awaits feedback to tell it to stop moving. The telescope itself will not go to the RA deck, but the driver will read the encoders and tell it when to stop moving. And if that link breaks for whatever reason, you have a runaway telescope. John, please note the field rotation in the dwarf in the bottom left corner is much more pronounced than that on the Seestar. You would think, given the much wider field of view on the dwarf, that the field rotation will be less evident, but it is evident both in the bottom right corner and the bottom left corner. Yeah, Seestar has just a touch at the bottom right corner, but not as severe. John, I'm not going to tell them how to do it. I will assign a problem to them and wait and see what solutions they bring back. The D2 tonight, original plan was to try to see the moon and the Pleiades around it. That failed because the moon was too bright for any star to appear around it. Now it is imaging M44 and waiting for the clouds to ruin the rest of the night. And Jacob, right now the D2 is the only telescope that can mount on the west wing for mechanical issues, mechanical reasons. Dwarf 3 is too big. And Seestar is definitely too big. So whenever I have something on the west that I want to look at, west or south, it's Grumpy to the rescue. John, I have no problem with them asking ChatGPT for a solution. They will have to implement it. I wonder what ChatGPT could have done during Apollo 13. I used to show my students the video of Gene Kranz or Flight telling them we have to find a way to fit a round peg into a square hole or vice versa, whatever it was for the filters. And I used to tell them, and this is what he did not tell them, or these are the questions that the engineers did not ask. Will this be graded pass fail or A to F? Can we have a time extension? Is it okay if we get the right idea but the wrong solution? And we went down the questions that students usually ask, and the funny one was, will this be on the final exam? Bill, I've only used Gemini so far. Have not used Grok. My son is in love with Grok. He uses it for everything. And Copilot, because it is a Microsoft product, I hate it with a passion. If Microsoft can stop installing things on my machine that I don't want, then maybe I'll give Copilot a try. This morning I tried installing Windows 11 on the computer in the observatory at Rice Creek, and Microsoft insisted on taking me through the litany of make Edge my default browser, make this my default, that, make the Microsoft settings my default, log in with your Microsoft account. And after about 6 or 7 of these, I said, never mind, I'll stay with Windows 10. And they keep sticking that Xbox, whatever it is, they keep installing it on the machine every time I uninstall it. All right, it's time to give AI denoise a go and see what it does with the M63. Not as much detail as I would have liked to see. We will come back to M63 on some other occasion. Bill, did you say you wanted 101 or 51? Everything is Kung Fu. I have a Stellina and was not at all tempted to downgrade to a Vespera, so never got into the Vespera sequence of telescopes. For the same reason, I will not be getting a Seestar S30, but waiting to see what the S70 will have. 101 it is. Let's see how much time we will have on it. How high is 101? It's not too high, it's only 55 degrees. Don't know why it's complaining. Seestar complained about the elevation of the target. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is stacking. M101 is a very beautiful target. Jeannie, have you gotten around to imaging 101 yet? Oh, no. Kung Fu, not anymore. Stellina is 4 or 5 years old now, and they have not upgraded any of the technology in it. It's a very old processor, but I still use it. It is the only telescope that I have with a hardware field derotator. They rotate the sensor physically, which is what the bigger telescopes at observatories do. It has a built-in dew heater. It has an autofocuser. It has a plate solver. It has a stacker. 5 years ago, it was the only telescope that had all these. Today, no, other than the 85mm aperture and the field derotator, all the other features I can find in the Seestar for a fraction of the cost. They don't make them anymore. They don't sell them anymore, the Stellinas. Jeannie, come again. Are you saying in Hollywood you have not had clear skies? I thought it never rains in Southern California, or is that just a song? Bill, you missed the joke that Boeing was awarded the contract to build the next Air Force fighter, the F-47. And part of their contract, there's a subcontract for Uber to bring back the pilots from anywhere in the world if Boeing cannot bring them back. Kung Fu, what do you want to use it for? It's almost like asking, do I prefer a Porsche 911, a Toyota Camry, or a Ford F-150? If you want to do wide-angle photography, then DWARF 3 is superior to Seestar. It has a much wider angle of view. If you want to do deep space objects, sun and moon, Seestar does a better job because it has twice as much glass as DWARF 3. Deep space, I go with the Seestar, and rumor has it that in 3 days they will be unveiling the Seestar S50. Keeping fingers crossed that we will see it at the NEAF. Fish, the S70 apparently is Seestar's next telescope. Matthew, if there is a S70 coming, then there is a high probability that I will be ordering one. We will certainly compare notes, Matthew. According to Cloudy Nights, the Seestar S50 will have two cameras, a wide angle, so it's going to look like the S30 more so than the S50. Haven't heard anything, John, from Dwarf Lab about a larger telescope. Kung Fu, I hate to say it depends, but it does. When we tried imaging the Dark Shark Nebula near Polaris, that was 8 hours. And I think Jacob did 8 hours 3 nights in a row, for a total of over 20 hours to image it. On the other hand, the Orion Nebula, one frame, so we're talking about 10 seconds and you're done and you can move on. M101 is taking its jolly time to form right now. We are 10 minutes. And I'm going to let it run. And you can see it get more and more definition every few minutes. So this is at 10 minutes. At 30 minutes, it'll look a lot nicer. At 1 hour, it'll look even nicer. So it's going to depend on your target. Seestar is buzzing. I don't know if that's what you guys are hearing. Bill, I think the S700 is an April's Fool. The S70 is a reality, as real as they get. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I'll be able to send you pictures from the NEAF that show the S70. Kung Fu, not really. The noise, the signal to noise ratio improves up to a point. 1 hour, no, we don't see more noise. We see better signal. Ladies and gentlemen, station identification. This is the Pompey Observatory, the only channel on YouTube that streams live in 4K resolution, multiple telescopes at the same time. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. We are running a special. If you subscribe tonight, you get a free 1-year subscription. We're going to move on from M44 and go to M67, see if that's visible. Hello, Chris. Hello, Robocop. John, I do think it's going to be higher. I am betting on the fact that they will have to upgrade the gears from plastic to metal. And that's going to increase the weight, increase battery size, increase everything in the process. If they stay with plastic gears, Jacob will definitely destroy them. Plus, I don't see an S70 being able to be mounted equatorially with plastic gears. Oh. Okay, there's M67. Fish, Stellina has a mechanical rotator for the sensor. The camera itself rotates in an equatorial mode. The very large telescopes at the big observatories do not have equatorial mounting. They are all mounted alt-as because of the weight. But the sensors on them, the cameras, that's what rotates. The 16-inch made in Oswego has an input that is derotator. So you can put a derotator on the sensor and the mount will feed the information to do the automatic correction. What are VLT cameras up mountains? Okay. Yes, the very large telescopes indeed use sensor rotators. Kung Fu, I use GIMP if I need to do advanced editing, otherwise it's Paintbrush on Windows. John, it is getting overcast. There is another plane for you, Bill. This one in the east. M101 is still stacking. It was a broken communication between the tablet and the telescope. Denver to Boston, okay. Kung Fu M101 is taking shape. This is 25 minutes compared to 10. That buzz coincided with the Seestar, so don't know at this point. There was buzzing 2 seconds ago. There is no cable. Seestar is sitting 3 feet from the microphone. Looks like the stars on dwarf are elongated. I'm going to magnify that picture and see whether that's indeed the case. John, yes, I do. Power cable is outside the window. I have not tested to see if there is any emissions from the power cable that could be causing that noise. I am not very thrilled with DWARF's capture of M67. The Seestar image is a lot cleaner. And this is where glass has its privilege, and if we get to an S70, just imagine how much cleaner that image is going to be. I mean, the signal to noise ratio, 7 times 7 is 49, 5 times 5 is 25, so we're talking about twice as much glass. They are doubling the glass, going from 25 to 50. That is mental math here. I did not use a calculator. Jeannie, I'm going to give you the same answer that I give people about telescopes when I say a good telescope is one that you will use. And the same is going to be true for the image editing software. A good software is the one that you actually use. If you can get the job done with the Paint and with the photo on Windows, then good. If they do not do the job for you, then GIMP will. I did not hear what she just said. Seestar was talking up a storm outside the window. That was Seestar buzzing again and shaking the room, because it is sitting on a 10-inch angle bracket that is bolted into the house. Sometimes that buzzing gets amplified. Yeah, if you insist. Yeah, we have some eggs up there. We're fairly good here. Yes, John, you are correct. That calls for repeating the experiment with the same target in equatorial mode and see if those stars in the top right corner will look rounder or not. Hello, Harvey. Don't know if it's the vibrations or the Alt-Az mount. It definitely calls for experimenting. Fish, I don't think it has anything to do with AARP. Old folks can get pictures as well as younger folks. Bill, we're starting to get color in the M101. Both reddish and bluish. And the clouds are taking over. We can barely see the Big Dipper at this point. I don't know if Astrospheric is giving us hope after these clouds or what. No, not really. Okay. It's gonna get worse and worse. Fish, I was making fun of the harp, referring to the AARP at the end. Here in the US, the AARP is a very active organization. It's the, I think, something like American Association of Retarded People or whatever, retired people. But that's for really old people. Anybody above 50 can join as long as they pay. And then you get special $5 dinners. You did not miss anything of substance, Bill. Bill, don't know if you heard my comment that M101 is starting to show colors. The reddish and the bluish. Looks like the clouds are gonna dictate on us going to bed before tomorrow. My wife still refuses to pay the senior citizens rate on anything. John, next time we attempt 101, I will do it in equatorial mode on the Seestar at about the same elevation, and keep an eye on the top right corner after about 40 minutes and see whether these stars will look rounder or not. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna wish you all a good night. And thank you for joining me for the past 3 hours or so. I'm gonna pack the telescopes and try to get some sleep before the contractors come knocking on the door to do more demolition inside my house. Good night, Jeannie. Good night, Dave. Good night, John. Good night, Fish. Good night, Harvey. Good night, Jacob, if you're still awake. Good night, Matthew. Good luck on the races tomorrow, the day after, the day after. We'll see you all again soon.